Hi there, welcome to the Women's Health and Hormones Call. My name is Leah Graham, and I'm delighted to share with you today one of my favorite topics. It feels like such a big topic though, so think of this as more of a skim of the surface. I always like to invite people who come to my classes to think of this information as a buffet, and that you can pile onto your plate anything that serves you, and anything that doesn't seem to quite fit right for you as an individual, you can just leave it there. But I hope that today you will feel empowered to take your hormone health and your knowledge of your body and your intuition to the next level. I have absolutely been so grateful for my journey in doTERRA. I am a diamond wellness advocate, and 7.5 years ago, I was invited to my first class. I was probably on paper not the person that you would think that would dive headfirst into this world of health and wellness and essential oils, but it has been wonderful. I struggled with chronic digestive issues and a continual low immune system due to extensive black mold exposure when I was younger. And I had a lot of need for natural ways to support my mood and my mental wellness. And so when that first drop of peppermint was sent around at that class I attended, my life was changed. It just affected it all, right? It opened up my lungs. It soothed my somewhat nauseous belly at the time, and that peppermint just sparked new life. And so I am so grateful now that I get to share with others about essential oils, especially with you today about women's health and hormones. If you want to connect more after this, you can find me on Instagram at Small Queendom, and I also have a podcast called the Small Queendom Podcast. So let's talk about hormones. Hormones are absolutely wonderful. They are the chemical messengers that constantly are at play in our bodies. They affect nearly all functions, influencing, triggering, and regulating everything from temperature to heartbeat, from blood sugar to fertility, from mood, and even to sleep. Today specifically, I'm going to just barely touch on these things: estrogen, phytoestrogen, xenoestrogens, cortisol, and we're going to also talk about liver and thyroid health. All right, so when we think about women's health and hormones, I want you to consider your own journey where you're at right now on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no unwanted symptoms and 10 being things feel out of control. Take a little bit of some inventory. How is your monthly cycle? Are you having days where it is absolutely unbearable? Is it extremely long? Are you not having the normal touch points of a cycle? Are you having extreme PMS and cramping, moodiness, breakouts? Where are you at? Some signs of hormonal imbalance. There are a lot of signs: hypothyroid, adrenal fatigue, difficulty losing weight, irritability, mood swings, things like anxiety, digestive problems, even loss of muscle tone. I mean, there are a lot of things: water retention, hot flashes, low libido, brain fog, hair loss, and the list truly goes on. So when we look at the female reproductive system, it includes the ovaries, the fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix, external genitalia, and breasts, and works very closely with other systems, especially the endocrine system, like the pancreas. And also, for me, when it comes to hormones, for my particular body, my liver health is totally key to my balanced hormones. So if we are looking at the ovaries, they secrete estrogen and progesterone, which are crucial for fertility, but also play a key role in a woman's emotional and physical health. And I also want to take a big pause before we dive into the products and the hormones and say that you cannot outrun a bad diet. Now, I like to always encourage folks that if you can just start to use oils or products or things like we'll talk about with the Zendocrine and the Yarrow with natural herbs and things, if you can feel just a little bit better, a lot of times I find that we can do better in areas of like nutrition, hydration, and diet and exercise. They are also connected. But I want to encourage you that there's no amount of supplements or essential oils that can outrun eating clean and nutritious and and wonderful foods that bless your bodies. All right, and so honestly, before we go anywhere, we have to talk about pieces that fill in those gaps in your nutritional diet. Even if we ate a perfect diet, there are things like minerals and so on that are deplete out of our soil. And so the food that we're eating, there are gaps in the nutritional value. And so I love our Lifelong Vitality Pack. It has been key in my wellness story. And the way I like to explain it is that it is packed with nature's most powerful antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, and those vitamins and minerals and fatty acids that are absolutely key for just having that baseline of health to know where do we go from here. If you've never heard the bottles explained before, the Microplex VMZ is your vitamins and your minerals. They are highly absorbable and they don't cause your stomach to hurt, and they really help you, your body to feel like you've had a salad, even if it's been something like a travel day or things have been hectic with the kids and you haven't been able to get in your veggies like you wanted. The middle bottle, the E Omega, I love our essential fatty acids. They have omega fatty acids 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9 in them. And when we're looking at women's health and hormones, we have to have the healthy fats. The healthy fats are what help to regulate our hormones. They nourish our skin. They help promote brain clarity, reduce brain fog. They nourish our heart, and just so many wonderful things. A little fact about our E Omega is that it is self-preserved, not only with essential oils that are in the capsule, but also with astaxanthin, a very powerful antioxidant. In the purple bottle, it's called Alpha CRS. This is like, I call this like your gentle liver detox. It is just everything antioxidants and anti-inflammatories and like the gas for your cells. So I love the Alpha CRS because it's helping my liver just work way more efficiently, and it is a powerhouse of some really wonderful ingredients. So this is your baseline. Anyone that comes to me, we have a wellness consult and they're sharing with me their long-term wellness goals. I mean, honestly, without thinking, this is where we have to start, because once we can check the boxes of antioxidants, fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals, once we can check those boxes, then I'll know where to go from there. Another product I wanted to highlight before I get into the nitty-gritty is our bone nutrient. This is really wonderful product, especially for people who are really needing that bioavailable nutrition for bone integrity, strength, and overall health. It's so important, especially actually that we don't wait until we are, in our 40s and 50s and beyond to have calcium. We need to be giving our body the magnesium and the vitamin D and the calcium and the zinc and all of those other really important cofactors that work together for a healthy, strong skeletal system. So this is a really wonderful complementary product, and it's going to go along with our phytoestrogen product really beautifully, and we're going to get to that in a second. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about estrogen and xenoestrogens. So quickly, if you need a little bit of a refresher on what estrogen is, estrogen directly affects a woman's growth and development and acts as a regulator for the reproductive system. And so at the beginning of a woman's, if we have a normal 30-ish day cycle, estrogen is higher. And then as we approach ovulation and post-ovulation, estrogen is lower and progesterone becomes more dominant, hopefully. Now, what I want to explain to you is something that Dr. Hill shared with me, and it blew my mind, that estrogen is such a good thing, and it can bind to those cell receptor sites right there. But there is I don't want to call him a new kid on the block, but there is a bully on the block, and this is a xenoestrogen. Now, a xenoestrogen is a foreign type of estrogen. It imitates estrogen, and it's usually synthetic. And what this does is the xenoestrogen is a bully and gets ahead of the good little estrogen and binds to the cell receptor site and sends a lot of unintended signals, and it causes a lot of havoc. So what the body is not getting is the good estrogen signs, and it's getting the bad estrogen signs. So estrogens are chemicals that are widely used in industrial compounds. They're in things like PCBs, BPAs, and phthalates, and they have that estrogenic effect on the body, and they're giving that false estrogen dominance. So we can find things in like fragrance, pollution, medication, beauty products, personal care products, things like household cleaners. So these things that are so common that we are using multiple times a day, if we're using conventional products that are not cleaned up, they are chock full of these bullies, estrogens that our body, absorbs, and it just clogs everything up. And so the first thing that I really want to share before we get into the nitty-gritty of the other products is what a beautiful thing doTERRA has done by starting to take these categories around our house of products that we use throughout the day, like personal care products, our skincare, our spa products, our hair care, and I love our On Guard family household cleaning products. These do not contain xenoestrogen containing ingredients. And so immediately we're taking that environmental, that factor out. And so when we can clean these products up, our body has the ability to really have a fighting chance to right the wrongs of those xenoestrogens. All right, so I want you to always remember that when it comes to xenoestrogens, you want the phytoestrogen complex. Now, don't be confused by the name. Sometimes people think like, I have too much estrogen, I'm estrogen dominant, I don't want to take a product called phytoestrogen. It's actually not estrogen. So what is contained in this product is soy, flax, and pomegranate. And this is amazing. These herbal components are wonderful in these food components because it assists to balance not only a deficiency, but it also balances and gets rid of the excess of these xenoestrogens. We can call them harmful estrogen metabolites. What it does is these products, it eats up the bad estrogens that are clogging up the cell receptor sites. So imagine that it races to those sites, it eats it up, and then it gives the sweet little estrogen the chance to get where it's supposed to go, back home in those cell receptor sites. So this has been powerful because it truly is the place to start for anyone who is having an unwanted symptom associated with their menstrual cycle. I don't know if I can say exact diagnoses here, but this would be where I would start to say the diagnoses that have to do with unwanted menstrual cycle symptoms, the kind of symptoms that leave women sleeping on a heating pad for 2-3 days of the month. This is just a absolutely wonderful product. Now, I want to go ahead on with the question that always comes up about soy. People say, I've been encouraged by my doctor not to, eat products with soy because they're bad for my hormones, or, so on and so forth. This is actually a fermented soy extract. And when you consider fermented soy, of course, doTERRA uses non-genetically modified components. This is not the Frankenfood soy that is the bad soy that we might find added to lots of foods, or things that we might be more familiar with when it comes to soy with a really bad reputation. It's a completely different product. A fermented, non-genetically modified soy is a beautiful thing, and it's actually a very low amount. And so this extract truly helps to promote healthy breast tissue and bring balance to hormones in both women and men, because men definitely have an exposure to those xenoestrogens too. And I mean, I love the men that are in my life, but Lord above, sometimes they feel a little bit hormonal to me, and they could benefit from this phytoestrogen complex. And I also love it because the other components, the pomegranate is a very powerful antioxidant, and we will get to it more later. All right. I feel like sometimes I say this about a lot of oils, but I would have to say that rose is in my top 5 for absolutely sure. This is a wonderful, wonderful oil for hormonal and emotional balance. It's wonderful to get relief from menstrual discomfort, just, and to also promote regular ovulation, roll it on the lower parts of your abdomen, on the inner parts of your ankles, where your reflex points are. You can roll it over your heart for emotional balance. It boosts libido, and it promotes openness and confidence. I also love to share this story with my second child. I actually have two children. One is 7 and one is 3. With my second child, I used Rose right after I had my son, and it was like a night and day experience. I used Rose with Melissa to help balance my hormones that before were causing me a lot of postpartum feelings of sadness. And with my first baby and with my second baby, I used the Rose daily, and it was a night and day difference for just helping me feel that calm emotional balance and help my body make that transition. Another total hero when it comes to the world of essential oils is clary sage. Now, clary sage is a floral, and you will find that many of our florals, clary sage, ylang ylang, geranium, lavender, they are wonderful, wonderful for women's health and hormones. So while I'm not going to talk about all of them tonight, I do want to focus on our blend, Clary Calm, that has many of those oils put together in the blend. This is a strong oil. It's straight, it is not diluted at all. So you can apply this daily to your abdomen. This is wonderful, whether you are, honestly, I have a lot of mothers ask me, can my 12-year-old use this? Can my 15-year-old use this? Absolutely. So whether you're 12, 22, 32, 42, 52, 62, anyone can use this for hormonal balance. It's wonderful for heavy periods, PMS cramps, hot flashes, and mood swings. Absolutely wonderful. And it has bergamot, it has vitex, palmarosa, lavender, clary sage, Roman chamomile. It is absolutely lovely. If you are overwhelmed by the smell and you do not like it, just simply apply it to the inner parts of your ankles and then put on socks, and you don't have to smell it. All right, so we're going to talk about components of the endocrine system. And we're going to break this down a little bit. I know that's a lot to look at. But quickly, the endocrine system is involved in growth and development, metabolism, nutrient regulation, and overall balance or homeostasis in the body. It's a system of glands that produce and send hormones to targeted organs and tissues via the circulatory system. So up there in the brain, there's the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, the pineal gland. There's the thyroid and parathyroid glands, the thymus. Of course, we are very familiar with the pancreas and the ovaries, testicles, and then there's also the placenta during pregnancy, and of course the adrenal glands. So essential oils are so beneficial because they are also circulated in the same way through that circulatory system in the body, and they profoundly benefit the cells that they encounter in the process. And of course, we know that essential oils benefit the structure and the function of our body so well. All right, one of my favorite topics. I know I say that about everything. I love talking about hormones, but you know what I love talking about more is the liver. I love talking about the liver. It has been a huge player in where my health is how much support I give my liver. So the healthy liver function is the underpinning of all hormone balance. Your liver literally has hundreds and hundreds of functions in the body, and it is the filter. Everything gets filtered through the liver. And because of that, it needs lots of love because it is working overtime. Super easy, super quick. Drink plenty of water. I hope that you are drinking, I like to call it half of your body weight, but put that in ounces instead of, pounds. And so let's say I'm 150 pounds. I want to drink the equivalent of half of that in ounces, so 75. If I was 200 pounds, I would want to drink 100 ounces of water daily. Our body is, the majority of our body is water. What is it, 80% water or somewhere very high like that. So we need to constantly be replenishing it. Slim and Sassy, we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute, but it is wonderful because it contains some great oils like grapefruit, and also our Zendocrine detoxification blend. It has a grapefruit in it as well, which is a lymphatic cleanser, and the lymphatic system is the garbage pail of our whole body, taking away the waste. Also in the Zendocrine is geranium, which is incredibly renewing for the liver and is also a powerful hormonal balancer. So if you want to, from this buffet of women's health and hormones, if you say, I want to focus on my liver a little bit, a great place to start would just be doing lemon and slim and sassy, looking at the Zendocrine soft gels. And also now I don't have a picture of it, but our Zendocrine complex in the white bottle, which has herbal extracts and components in it, wonderful. It is now available. Those would be a great place to start to love on your liver. If you are looking for care for your pancreas, this is where Slim and Sassy really comes in. It is wonderful daily to support metabolism, regulate blood sugar, and release excess water. I like to say, take 2 to 3 drops, at least 3 times a day. I like to do Slim and Sassy if I'm really trying to focus on my metabolism and just, if I haven't been as good in my diet, I actually will do extra, Slim and Sassy under my tongue. If you don't like the taste of Slim and Sassy, just take the soft gels. They're so super, super easy. So the lemon and the grapefruit is going to help your body release excess water. The ginger and the peppermint is going to rev up your metabolism in your gut and get it going and calm it down. And the cinnamon is going to help balance that blood sugar. So good for your pancreas. If you are specifically also needing extra pancreas support, you can do coriander internally or rub it over your liver. Okay, adrenals, here we are. Love talking about my adrenals a lot. So if you don't know where your adrenals are located directly above your kidneys. So if you can take your hands and place them on your lower back, your palms on your lower back, right there about is where your kidneys are, and your adrenals are going to sit right above them. Oh, so adrenals, where do we begin with the adrenals? Your adrenals and your thyroid are very, very closely related. Many times, I'm not going to say all the time, but much of the time, if your thyroid is having trouble, especially long-term, most likely your adrenals are as well. They have to do with energy and cortisol production. Cortisol is that hormone. It's like the sunshine hormone. When you wake up in the morning, your body gives you a boost of cortisol, and it's what naturally makes you wake up and get out of the bed and hopefully get going. At nighttime, I like to call the nighttime hormone is melatonin. So cortisol for the day and melatonin for the night. What happens is that a lot of time we are tired, we are under too much stress, our body is bogged down, there's some imbalances going on with our thyroid, and our adrenals have to pump a lot of cortisol because we are needing so much energy. It's like the candle being burned at both ends. Now, what is amazing, and I didn't get to talk too much in depth about progesterone, but there is a connection between cortisol and progesterone. And so progesterone, let me take a little detour. It is, not only is progesterone super important for preparing the uterus for conception and implantation and helping you have a viable pregnancy, but it is a natural anti-inflammatory in the body. Now, a lot of times people find themselves estrogen dominant and low in progesterone. And let me tell you what I believe for my body has been the reason. When your body needs to produce extra cortisol and it's not there, it will actually use progesterone, which is a precursor to cortisol. It will steal the progesterone that should be doing other things in the body, and it will steal the progesterone to make it be cortisol. So I guess your body thinks that it's more important to keep moving and keep, alive. It is more important to, keep you alive for survival than it is to say, let progesterone, do its thing. If you are looking to have a baby, carry a baby, the body is trying to keep you alive. And the cortisol is what, keeps you moving. So if we look at that survival, that primal state, you know, it's kind of like, oh, we need to survive, grabbing the progesterone to do that. And so what we can do is if we can really start to balance those adrenals and give them tons of love and support, it will also in turn help the body from taking the progesterone away. So like I said, this blew my mind when I learned it, and it filled in so much gaps for where my hormonal health was. I was so tired all the time. I'd wake up exhausted. I couldn't hardly get out of bed. And I was just tired all the time. And so of course I reach for the coffee or reach for the chocolate because it makes me feel better. And that cortisol, coffee, chocolate, sugar, caffeine, those things, they make cortisol have a huge burst. And so this might have been too much information for you, but I love it. You can tell I'm so passionate about this because it's been a huge part of my story. So let's get these adrenals to calm down, to take a break. And so let's get our magnolia, because it has up to 3 times the linalool that lavender has. That makes lavender so calm. Grab that magnolia and apply it to your adrenals twice daily. I would apply it maybe around lunchtime, and then I would apply it maybe about 8 or 9 o'clock. And then if you are really needing to focus on your adrenals, you need to get in bed when you get that first wave of sleepiness around 8 or 9 o'clock. If you push through it and you make your body pump more cortisol, you're going to stay awake too late and you're going to mess up that cycle. Now, would you believe that Mito2 Max is incredible for the adrenals? So it has a mitochondrial energy cofactor blend. The components are alpha lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10, and acetyl L-carnitine. Now, these are what are going to help you not have to reach for the coffee. So you're going to take 2 capsules of Mito2 Max. Take them as soon as you wake up, okay? I would take them as soon as you wake up, and you can take them again in the afternoon if you have a slump. I'll tell you a little secret what I do. There also is a great component in it called oligonol. So if you are reaching for the stimulants during the day like coffee or chocolate to keep you focused, the oligonol that's in the Mito2 Max is going to help you have sustained focus, even, you know, for hours after taking the Mito2 Max. And then here's the big, you know, the big kahuna for your adrenals. There is an adaptogenic blend of cordyceps. Now, cordyceps is that superfood mushroom. It is just balm for the adrenals. It just gives them a rest, and it is so calming and soothing to the stress that they are under. So let me tell you the secret that I do when I am finding that my adrenals are needing a lot of extra help. Believe it or not, I will take 1 capsule of Mito2 Max at my bedtime. I know that seems so counterintuitive, but when my adrenals are needing extra love, Mito2 Max actually makes me feel sleepy. It works almost like, it almost works like a serenity capsule for me, for my body. And that's how tired my adrenals have been. I don't always take it at night, but when I'm really needing a lot of support, I do. And then I do that for a little bit, you know, several days, and then I just get back to taking it during the day. All right, I promised you we would talk a little bit about the thyroid. If you have thyroid imbalance, it is not a life sentence. I wish we could have a whole class on thyroid because there is so much hope for you between nutrition, stress management techniques, hydration and your water supply. And then we have some wonderful essential oils coupled with our lifelong vitality. So you're going to get a roller ball. You're going to do 10 drops each of clove, frankincense, myrrh, and lemongrass. You can top it with FCO and apply to the thyroid 3 times daily. I know I've also heard of people adding in DDR prime with their LLV consumption, and it has also been a key component for thyroid health. And then I wanted to have an honorable mention. I don't have time to completely get into our Yarrow products, but Yarrow Palm has been really a revolutionary product. Now let me break down the 3 parts of the family. So the main Yarrow Palm is our active botanical nutritive duo in the small dropper. And then we have, that is just yarrow and pomegranate. And then we have a body renewal serum that is a little bit different. It has the Yarrow Palm, but it has some really great oils in it that make it wonderful for, you know, all the people that said they want to bathe in yarrow pom. Well, you basically can now, and this blend is going to be perfect with those perfect carrier oils, especially for those trouble spots on your belly, on your thighs, and on your legs where you're wanting to smooth and tighten and lift. And then there is the cellular beauty complex, and some people get confused. What is this supplement? This is for that inner glow. It is also super key for the digestive system. It has things like melissa and celery seed, but it also has zinc in it. So not only are you going to get that inner glow from the skin, but you're going to clean up your digestive system and give your immune system a huge boost. We have a lot of happy mothers of teenage daughters who tell us that 1 week of the month is not nearly as emotionally stressful for the entire family now that their teenage daughter is taking the complex supplements. Now, I want to zone in on that yarrow pom dropper really quick. So let's talk about yarrow. Yarrow is going to optimize the metabolic functions, okay, that are going on in your body. So it's optimizing metabolic functions. It helps you grow stronger and healthier. It helps regulate the endocrine secretions of hormones and enzymes. It tones up the nervous system and it boosts your immune system. When you combine it with a pomegranate, pomegranate is an antioxidant. It's an anti-inflammatory. It helps prevent irregular cell growth and induces apoptosis. And it also contains that omega-5. So I did want to share a quick testimony from someone who is very close to me, but I will keep her a little bit anonymous. Let's see. So she has 3 children, and after her 3rd baby, her periods became completely unmanageable. And so, you know, 7 days of the entire month were just, very, very difficult for her to handle. And she had so much discomfort. And so I asked her, like, would you try this yarrow pom? So she takes it daily. And she said within 3 cycles, her cycles went from extreme 7 days of just, not good, to 4 to 5 days, which is a more normal cycle or more normal period length of very manageable situation. Also really important is that she used to get really terrible, extreme hormonal acne, and that is gone now too. She does not get the hormonal acne during her period. So this is a little bit of a honorable mention for the yarrow pom for you. And honestly, like if you are talking about, Leah, how do I start to incorporate this? Of course, you're gonna, I like to just give you a little bit of some guidance. Pick the area that you are wanting to work on. I like to say, if you have never really given your hormones like an overhaul, I really invite you to look at the phytoestrogen combined with your LLV. And then if you need the bone nutrient, add it. The Clary Calm or the Rose, absolutely. So if you've never done any kind of hormonal makeover, that phytoestrogen is going to eat off those bad xenoestrogens on the cells, okay? And so in our shopping environment, there is a section called Women's Health, and you can add these. I believe you can get the bone nutrient and the Clary Calm and the phytoestrogen together. I'm pretty sure there is a significant discount when you get it bundled, and then you can simply add on the Rose, and then boom, that's pretty much your LRP, and you'll get those wonderful points. You'll get the free oil of the month, and you will really start your women's health and hormones makeover. Of course, I really invite you to pick a citrus like grapefruit. It is wonderful at balancing your hormones, specifically balancing progesterone. Drop it several drops a couple times a day under your tongue. Drink with a big glass of water to help balance that progesterone. So I prefer grapefruit. I prefer, honestly, good old tangerine or lemon. It just tastes so good. Or I'll do that Slim and Sassy. All right, listen, I hope that you feel really empowered to dip your toes into the signals that your body is telling you. I believe in your ability to be well. I believe in your ability to tune in. And I really know that for some of us, we are carrying a really heavy emotional load. Sometimes I feel like what's happened to us in our life through, you know, different circumstances or events, they have caused such a stress and such a load on our body that it's not functioning optimally. And so I just really invite you to dig into your health. You are absolutely worth it. And maybe as you start to do that physical healing, things might come up for you emotionally that you get to deal with. And really, honestly, as I started to dig into this hormonal balance and this hormonal health in my body with my adrenal fatigue, and with having going through pregnancy and also having dealt with miscarriage and loss, that I needed to really dig into the foundation of wellness in my body and really support myself with tons of love and tons of grace. And it has been a journey. I'm still on it, but I really believe in the power of these oils. So I hope that you are well. I hope that you take something that you learned here today and run with it. Bye-bye.